So just to kind of give everyone a heads up, I would say probably over the next few minutes here, we always have people that kind of, join us in the first like maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. Typically we have a group of around anywhere between say 20 and 30 people each month. And super grateful for all the wonderful people who join us every month. And a lot of times, a lot of new faces. A lot of times we have some existing folks that are sharing where they're at in their journey. But the cool part is everyone's in different stages of the process, and it's exciting to kind of be able to sit down and do Q&A with everybody in regards to the adult day world, answer people's questions, help them kind of understand maybe what they should do, or maybe what they should change based on what stage of the adult day development process or startup stage that they're in. But super grateful for everyone that does join us. And for those that are new to our monthly webinars, what we typically will do is leave it open for Q&A for folks to be able to ask questions. And of course, there's always like, it's always hardest to get the first question out of someone. And then once they do share, everyone has questions. And so if you do have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, or you can raise your hand. There's a little like button, I'm sure you guys are familiar on Zoom, where you can put your little hand up and then I can call on someone. Feel free to you can show your video and stuff like that too. And then when you do raise your hand or we call on you, make sure that that you unmute yourself, and we will make sure that we can go through some Q&A together. So for everyone that is just now joining us, I don't know if anyone currently has a question they've been thinking about. I'd love to start off with somebody that might have a question, whether it's regarding startup stage, whether it's regarding current operations, marketing, increasing census. That's what the purpose of this meeting for, is to answer all those questions. So feel free to write in the chat. Feel free to raise your hand. I'm trying to see who we have on here that's a returning guest and who's new. But I do see some newer folks as well. So who has any questions that we can get this this process started? This is the first time where I feel like everybody has their video turned off. I can't even see what everyone's up to. I know you all didn't just join me just to sit here and look at my pretty face. I'm sure you guys had some questions, right?
Hello.
Hi, Nicole, the
Hi.
brave soul. Thank you for starting the conversation.
I'll put my video on. It's been a long day, but I'll put my video on. Hold on a second.
All right.
I think I can. Hold on. Oh, wait, my phone's saying adjust my privacy settings. Okay. I'll do that at some point.
No worries. Go ahead. I'm just glad somebody jumped in with a question.
Of course. So thank you. I've followed you on LinkedIn for quite a while. I'm a nurse, and my partner and I, we just started our adult daycare in Tavares, Florida.
Okay.
We finally got our license in February.
All right, congratulations.
It was a long ACA journey.
Yes.
I didn't even want to go there, but anyway.
I know. We're gonna scare everyone else off if you go there.
No. No, I don't want to scare anyone off. It was just one thing, this financial part, getting the right person to do it. That's literally what took the time. But anyway,
for sure.
I guess so where we're at now, we've been officially open since last month. And I guess my question would be sort of marketing and census. We currently have 2 participants, and which is good for 3 weeks in, but just any tips or suggestions on marketing?
Absolutely. I'm actually in the process right now. I'm trying to pull up your area. So Tavares, I know of Tavares. Give me an idea of like just general as far as
Tavares is about 20 minutes south of the Villages.
Okay, cool.
And we're right, if you know Mount Dora, like we're next door to Mount Dora. So we have, pretty decent senior population here.
Now,
We
are the villages within, like, would you say, like, are the villages farther, like, further out of, like, your kind of, like, um,
Mm, it would
is it
depend. I don't think it would be absurd for someone to bring a loved one to us from the villages. I don't think they would be a everyday person.
gotcha.
But maybe a couple times a week I could definitely see it because I don't think the
So
villages has offers this service outside of an assisted living setting.
gotcha. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I don't think they have an adult day there. Let me ask you some. I'm gonna ask you some questions, so we
Sure.
can kind of like diagnose, like, where you've been, where you're at, where you're going as far as like the marketing side of it, so we can kind of like, maybe, give you some specific direction to your case. I have an idea
Okay.
about the Tavares area. So when it comes to the like prior to opening, so you guys opened 3 weeks ago. So you guys opened essentially what, like right at the end of March?
Yeah, I think March 21st was our first day.
Now, are you guys in a commercial building? What size of
Yes.
center do you have?
We're 2,500 square feet. We're in a kind of like a shopping plaza
Okay.
area.
Yep.
Hmm.
And all right, so 2,500 square feet in a shopping plaza. Okay. What about the, like, anything prior to opening? Did you guys do any marketing
Okay,
prior to
so what
opening?
we did, we hosted what we called senior socials
Okay.
just for the community of seniors and just to come. We served just a hot meal and we did some activities with them. Obviously, no care, but just to kind of get the word out. So, right now, what we've been doing as far as marketing is, reaching out to contacts in the community like the rehabs, the um home health, home health is on the list. I haven't done much of that yet, reaching out to the
Now,
home health agencies.
did you do any of those? Did you meet any of those folks prior to opening?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
but being in the industry already, I kind of had some contacts already, but
Okay.
Interested in owning your very own ActivAge? Join the fastest growing franchise concept in senior care. As an ActivAge franchise partner, you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Have access to a world-class Margaritaville-style environment, and together we can change the world for seniors and their family caregivers. Own an ActivAge today. Shh, it's a movement.
yes,
So now, did you guys have a grand opening party at all?
that is next week.
Okay. And does every single rehab, do you guys have placement agencies in your area?
Yeah, like you mean like place for
Like a
mom type place?
Yeah, like, but like, I know that, like, at least in some of our areas, there's a lot of like, like little, like, kind of like mom and pop companies that are like local, like boots on the ground, like
Not
a
that
care
I'm
patrol.
aware of. Not
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
Is the event being done with the chamber?
Yes.
Do you have any, are there multiple chambers in that area or just one?
There's multiple. So we're in what we call the Tri-City area. So we would have three. We only have a relationship currently with one,
Okay.
just because of funding at the moment, with being, waiting for the license. But we have Eustis, Tavares, and Leesburg. We're like right in the middle of that. And Mount Dora too, so four.
Okay, gotcha. So there's four. And then when you think about and which one are you a part of?
Eustis, because I have a home
Eustace.
care company too, so that was already
Okay.
kind of part of that.
Got it. When you think about the open house, okay, so how many hospitals do you have in your area?
Two.
Two hospitals. Okay. Do you know all the case managers there?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
No, you're good. I'm just making a, if I go, I'm like rapid fire questions, so I can kind of
That's
like,
okay.
provide
Assess.
you with like my best like recommendation, and for anyone else that's on this call too, just understand that, like, we used to do presentation then live Q&A, but what I have found in the general consensus amongst everyone is that, by learning from others, we get some really good practical knowledge, not just not just like, a 30-minute presentation. And so, these are great questions, Nicole, or this is a great question I think that most people need to be aware of. So I'm really glad that you're willing to share, and we can kind of like diagnose this and then provide some feedback. So thank you for that. So let me so going back to it, we have 2 hospitals. Okay. Do you know how many rehab, like long-term rehab facilities you have?
I'm just gonna go off the top of my head and say 5. I actually have
Okay.
a list, but I haven't combed through it yet.
Are you have you ever heard of floridahealthfinder.gov?
Yes, that's where I got
Okay,
the list from.
perfect. Okay, so you got, all right. So that's like the most accurate list, right? So like you having that list is important. Okay. What about assisted living facilities in your area and home care agencies? How many would you estimate are there?
Ooh. Assisted livings, I'll say um probably maybe 10 in like that Tri-City area. And um what was the second part? You said assisted livings and what?
Private duty home care and
We don't
and
have,
Medicaid.
honestly, so when you're saying private duty, that's personal care and homemaker all.
Yeah, just like you're like, if I think about like a home instead, comfort keepers.
I would probably say we at least have 5 or 6 of those, if not more.
Okay. Now, have all of these people I've mentioned, do you know like all of them, 20% of them, like as far as like the,
I probably would say I have a contact or have had a contact with at least 10% of them.
okay. So I would say like, and then how big of a budget do you have right now for marketing activities?
It's pretty slim.
Okay.
I would
So
probably say maybe 2 or 300.
got it. Okay. So really at this point in time, like all like the only resource you have is going to be your sweat equity.
Mhm.
As far as like getting on top of this marketing thing, you know.
Mhm.
So number one, I would say like um like I would go and literally, make a list of every single hospital, skilled nursing, long-term, rehab facility, assisted living facility, Medicare home health company, private duty, in-home care,
Mhm.
the 4 chambers. And I would start with the medical side of things, like the hospitals, the SNFs, the ALF, the Medicare home health, and then private duty. And I would literally go meet 100% of them, the owners, the marketers, and the case managers and social workers.
Okay.
And
Right.
like emergency, like I need to meet every single person in the next 2 weeks
Okay.
and make a list of every single person's name and what role they play. So if I go into
Okay.
a hospital, who's the marketing admissions person, or do they have a marketing person? And then, maybe if I can befriend them, maybe they can introduce me to the case managers. Can I go right
Mhm.
into the case manager, social worker department, meet them, and get to know how many people work in their department, and just become their friends.
Mhm.
Um, but like, the hardest part about this is like all of these relationships, like they're going to take time to evolve.
Mhm.
So it's like none of this is like a quick fix. And this is why I stress so much in the very beginning. It's so important that this activity I'm talking about right here happens 6 months prior to opening.
Okay.
And I know we can't go back. I'm not like, that's a teaching moment for anyone else on this call. I know we can't go back and take back
Right.
time, right?
Mhm.
But I think this is sometimes where people, this, like, look, please understand, I'm not criticizing you individually. I'm just trying to, like, prevent other people from going through this experience, where you get open and it's like, holy crap, where is everybody? you know
Yeah.
because I've been there. Like I get it. So really, it's one of those things where we really need to kind of like triage. It's like emergency mayday. I got to meet everyone, from case workers to marketing people. I need to go to these skilled nursing rehab facilities. I need to meet those case managers, those discharge planners, social workers. There may be 1, there may be 2, potentially 3, depending on how big the place is. And start getting to know who they are, and building that rapport with them. Getting to know the Medicare home health companies as well as those private duty in-home care companies. Because for the private duty in-home care, you could be a great like supplement to those services, where your services might cost less than
Mm-hmm.
obviously what they could send someone into the home for, and helping them to explain that if they have clients that are potentially on a budget, this could be a great way for them to save their client, get you some hours. They could do a combination of both services,
Right.
and kind of being able to explain and share that with them is going to be really important for sure. But like the reason why I say it's an emergency is like we got to put together an Excel doc of every single one of these locations with their contact, marketing, and case management, social worker, discharge planners, and put that list together so we have all their phone numbers, email addresses, contact information, so we can start building rapport with them.
Understand. Thank
And
you.
then I would say, the other thing is you said you're open. When's your grand opening?
Next Tuesday, Thursday, the 20th.
Next Thursday. Okay, so do you have flyers printed already for that?
Yes.
Okay, I would literally like make it my mission between now and next Thursday to go meet all those people and at least invite them to your open house.
Okay.
Because what's nice about that is you inviting them to your open house, it's not gonna come off as like gimme. It more of like, hey, come join us for refreshments and this and that, see what we have going on. You're inviting them to a party, you know what I mean?
Right.
As far as Google My Business, as far as Google and your website, like do you have a Google My Business listing set up already?
Yes.
Okay. So
And
you
a
built
website.
yep, you built the website. Okay. As far as I'm trying to think, and you got your rack cards, you got printed material.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, like right now it's like your greatest asset you have is yourself and your ability to connect with all of those important parties, because just building that relationship is really your strongest resource at the moment, because because there's not a ton of cash to put
Mm-hmm.
into other marketing activities. Like we're going to have to rely solely on the relationship building side.
Got it.
And then the other thing too is I would take all of those people that you meet, gather all those email addresses, put them all into an email marketing campaign where like you're sending out updates, selfies of you and your members, what you're doing, really
Mhm.
show them how much you're participating in creating for them. You know what I mean? Like you want to help them understand
Excellent.
like all the wonderful things that you're doing. Share the story. Hey, Mrs. Smith, she came with us. She started out and was having difficulty with these things. Now she's like, whatever like her
Mm-hmm.
story is. I'm not saying make up one, but like,
No, I
if
understand that.
if you've seen these improvements in her cognitive function, her family members are
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, like mom's like, she's coming home happy, singing and dancing again. Like she's doing
Mm-hmm.
things we haven't seen her do in years. Like any of that kind of stuff. Just share that story with a photo and how you made an impact in her life, and do that on social media. Put that as part of your email blast out to everyone. So like get yourself like a constant contact or something like that. And then do you have any way right now, like any sort of CRM system? So if a lead comes in, is there any place that information is stored?
No. Like on our website, we have like an inquiry form, and then we would get an email like through a Google form. Is that what you mean?
I mean, that's great to have the form on there for sure, right? Like that's important. But so this would be more of like a CRM system. So basically a software system where when that lead does come in,
Mm-hmm.
like you could put it somewhere where you could manage it through the life of it becoming, it coming in as a lead versus then that person turning into a member.
No, we do not have that.
Gotcha. So I would definitely like look into different softwares. I'm trying to think of some inexpensive ones. They may not necessarily be senior related, but golly, like the problem is we HubSpot, that's one. So HubSpot has one, and
Mhm.
HubSpot you can like I think you can buy different packages, like meaning you could get like a CRM package and add the email marketing package. You could just do the CRM system, but if you just type in CRM,
Mhm.
system on Google, you're going to find so many options. It's crazy, so just try to find something that maybe fits your budget, that is at least a place for you to store and communicate and manage the relationship of the lead from the time that they inquire to the time that you convert them into a member.
Okay. Thank
Because
you
what'll
so
happen is
much.
you'll have like sticky notes, Excel spreadsheets, all this stuff, and you're like, you want to find, you want to at least like as traffic starts to come your way, you want a place where you can store like, where did they come from, who referred them to me,
Mhm.
like you can text through it, you can email through it, so you can kind of see a history of your conversation with them. You can put notes in it, you can schedule a follow-up notification, so in the future, a month from now, 2 months from now, you can follow up with them when they told you to follow up with them, and it'll remind you of that. Just something to kind of manage all of that stuff. Otherwise, because every lead is so precious, and because people don't know what adult day is,
Right.
it's important to nurture that relationship, get them in. I don't know if you offer a free day guest pass, get them in for the free day guest pass, get them to, at least try one day,
Can I ask a quick question about that? How would that
Yeah.
work with like the whole ACA regulations doing a free guest pass?
Yeah, so you invite them in, have their loved one maybe stay like, off to the side while they participate with you guys for a
Okay.
little bit.
Mhm.
The reason we call it a guest pass because they're not a member yet. They haven't.
Right.
They're just coming on an extended tour.
Okay.
You
Gotcha.
know, so it's like, they haven't like, at this stage. A lot of times, we'll have family members that kind of sit in the back, and watch their loved one kind of participate a little bit.
Okay.
And typically the guest pass, they're not maybe here all day long. They're just kind of here to like
Mhm.
get a feel for it a little bit. You could host open houses, on a regular basis, to kind of like at least, generate interest, where people can come in and kind of see and get a feel for the place. I'm trying to like throw everything at you. It's like,
I'm taking it all. Keep it
I
going.
know. I think this will be helpful for anyone. And then the other thing too is, I would say, it's important when you to understand who your avatar is for who you're marketing to. Because remember, are we marketing to the senior who's attending, or are we marketing to a family caregiver?
Family caregiver.
Yeah. So a lot of times, I know I did this mistake too in the beginning. A lot of my marketing like was really like care like was directed towards the senior instead of directed towards the family caregiver. If you have an Alzheimer's association, there's a chapter in your area. If there's any sort of like Parkinson's disease or any sort of like family caregiver support, things in your area, you could host those at your center. You could invite those
Mhm.
folks in. You could have educational series that could support family caregivers that are caring for a loved one, and those could be hosted, in your location, and that could drive people to come in and experience it, meet you, get an idea of like, oh, this is an option. This is here in our community.
Mhm. Oh, that's great.
But like I would say right now, Nicole, like not to put any pressure on you, not to make you feel like, oh my God,
Oh, that
like
doesn't scare me.
okay. But I mean, but I'm saying like I would like this is like I gotta every single day, I gotta run as fast and hard as I can and for as long as I can. And building these relationships, doing this email thing, setting up the CRM, what just like this is like, you know, it's gonna be the next 6 months are gonna be like really tough, just doing everything you possibly can within your power to build relationships and to be the face of this thing and tell the story and go on social media. And the reason why it's so hard is because your only asset right now is your personal time, because we don't have the cash to go throw a ton of money at stuff.
Right. Right.
So this is like just know in the kindest way possible that this will probably be the hardest period of time in your life for the next 6 months. And if you
Mhm.
can put every effort, every little ounce of your being into it in the next 6 months, you'll come out of the 6 months from now and much stronger.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that
So
advice, and I believe it 100%.
yeah, I know. That's it's just that sometimes you get caught up in trying to just get open, right? Dealing with the
Mhm.
state and the
Mhm.
ACA that like finally get your
Yes.
license and you're like, all right, now what do we do? Oh, we got to go market, you know? And this
Yes.
is why I think it's so important in the beginning. It's like, 6 months out, I need to I need to have my list of all these people, start making those relationships, start putting that list together, because I got to build that relationship over 6 months so that when I do open, now I'm already friends with all of these people. They knew it was coming and they were a part of the journey, the build, the licensing, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. They know Nicole, they know your partner, they know, people in your life that are helping you make this thing work. And they're like, they're cheering you on, they're rooting for you. So on opening day, like, they've already been thinking about you for the last 6 months.
Got it. No, I had a lot of time to do that too, so that would have been nice.
I know.
But
Well,
it's
then, and
okay.
that's why I'm stressing that, not to make you feel bad,
No.
just to like teach anyone else on this call that's like potentially either they're in the earlier stage of the process, or they're thinking about it, and at least now these people are aware how important
Yes.
that is in the beginning, because there is that downtime when you're going through licensing where you have the time to do this, and you may not be able to market your services like you offer these today, but there's nothing in the rules and regulations that are saying that you can't like go become a friend with a case manager and tell them that you're going to be opening this place someday.
Right.
So I think this was a fantastic question. I really appreciate you sharing with all of us here. I know I took a little bit like longer on this question to kind of like dive deeper on it with you, but I feel like it's a very important thing, because I've told a lot of people that, in my personal opinion, adult day has all the upside in the world. There's just one problem, and most people, they don't understand like just how lack of awareness there is, how much of a lack of awareness there is, about the adult day, and what it can do for people. And so the community at large, they're somewhat aware of assisted living, nursing homes. They may not know the difference between those two, but they know that mom or dad or their loved one can go to a place and live. And they know that their mom or dad and the loved one could potentially have someone come into their home. But most people don't know that there's a place for them to go during the day. And so like, it just takes an incredible amount of extra effort just communicating that to the public, So
Can I just add one comment to that, not to take from that?
yeah,
I can 100% attest to that, because that has hit me hard in like the last few weeks, because there have been people who I've been talking about the journey and who's known about it, and now that it's open, and they'll say something to me, and I just look at them and I say, you literally don't know what I've been doing. Like, I
they have no
thought you
idea.
knew, like
Right.
I thought you understood, and then they'll say something and I'm like, what? Like, you
Yep.
have no idea what this is.
Yep. No, 100%. And that's the thing, is like I can't tell you how many times that I will tell people, and this is why it's so important, like honestly, for you to get people in your door. So like every single one of these people, that any single person in the community that like potentially is a potential referral source. I mean, elder law attorneys, guardians, case managers, social workers, discharge planners, anyone that's going to be coming across someone that potentially could, refer to you, right? It's so important to get them to come in the door so they understand when you say adult day, what that means. Because the problem is most people do not understand what adult day means. And in their mind, you could say that to them 5 times and they're thinking that you're opening a place with 12 bedrooms. They're thinking it's an assisted living facility. I can't tell you how many times I've told someone, adult day, and like, and they're like, so how many beds do you have? We don't have any beds. No one stays overnight. Oh, really? Yeah. Like, like, so what, so do they go into the home? You send people into people's homes? No, we don't go into people's homes. No, like people come to us, they stay for the day. And then I hate to even use, and I say like, I hate to even use this analogy, but just to help you understand, it's like daycare for kids, but now for the senior, where like the family caregiver is taking care of their loved one, they're dropping their loved one off for the day and then picking them up in the afternoon because they got to work, run errands, do things in town, And so like, it's not just you that is like, that is going, this is the number one problem. Everything else is easy. Staffing is not a problem. Engaging people is not a problem. Like literally, like the adult day from an operational standpoint, it's the easiest thing to run. The hardest thing that we have to do, and we've spent a ton of time perfecting it, but the hardest thing that just in general people have to do if they're opening their own is they really got to understand just how important it is to generate awareness and what that means. And that's like that's a next level of hustle, So, hey, I really appreciate your question, Nicole. Thank you for sharing with us and for just being open and kind of sharing where you're at, and definitely keep joining us on these monthly calls. Look forward to hearing an update next month too, and hopefully some of the stuff can we'll be able to kind of talk through it as you go through it yourself too.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to answer my question.
Hey, no
Thank
problem.
you,
I think
everybody
it was
else,
great,
too,
great
for the
for yeah.
time.
No, I think this is great for everyone too. I'm sure, so thank you for that. Who else we got? I know.
So you want to hire a consultant to help you open your very own adult day center? Well, I may not be a consultant. However, I'm happy to coach you. If you want to sit down one-on-one and ask specific questions about your situation and what to do next, make sure you go to krischanna.com/coach and book your coaching call today.
Hey, Kris.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hi. Thank you for setting us up.
Yeah, man. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing good. Listen, how many questions can I ask? Because I have a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, I typically I try to shoot for like 5 or 10 minutes per person. So let's just see what we can get through, and I know I gave Nicole quite a bit of time, but I felt like it was important for everyone. So it could, because it's such a big issue. But go ahead, man. Just ask
Yeah.
away, and we'll just start diving into stuff.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. So just like piggyback off of the marketing, you said in terms of kind of reaching out to case managers, social workers in different hospitals. How do you get your foot in the door though?
Yeah, so a lot of times, it's I've always found that if you can offer a gift of some sort as just a way to say hi. Hey, my name is so and so. I wanted to drop this off. I wanted to invite you to something. Hey, I got a gift. Obviously, the more you get to know who the case manager or that social worker or discharge planner is, the easier it is over time to be able to get that person's something that is more meaningful to them. But in the very beginning, it could be some sort of memento. It could be a flyer inviting them to an open house. It could be just some sort of like thing that has your brand on it that you wanted to share and drop off with them, and you're really just going in there hey, my name is so and so. I am opening a new adult day center here in town. I'd love to at least say hi and meet the case managers here, and then this might be the front desk. And would you be willing to share with me the person's name? Do you have a card? Could you introduce me to them? Are they here today? And just trying to get at least your foot in the door that way, because nothing in that moment is going to turn into a referral. But I'm just trying, at this point in time, in the very early stages, I'm just trying to get a name, a contact, information, a business card, something, and get an idea of is it just one case manager, two? Is there a team? Is there a case manager who's the case manager leader that oversees the 5 other case managers? I'm just trying to get an idea of who exists in that place.
A question about that as well. In terms of when you're setting up your mailing list, are you setting up the mailing list based on their professional emails, or are you going to kind of take the extra step, ask for the personal email, things like that?
Yeah. So in this case, I'm just focusing on the professional side. I mean, unless I'm going, unless say 6 months from now, me and that case manager become best friends, and now we're fishing on the weekends, or we're doing something else, then it's different, right? Now I got their cell phone, and we're texting on the side, it's that's a totally different relationship. But in the very beginning, when we don't have that friendship, we're just trying to build something. I'm putting them on the email list just so that they're aware of what I'm doing here. Now, I'm not trying to in the email sell them per se. I'm more so just trying to show photos, show them recognition to my team. Just, I want them to get to know me a little bit. If anyone on here has ever watched any of my YouTube stuff, I would say most of the time when I talk to someone that watches our YouTube content, by the time I talk to them, they kind of feel like they already know me a little bit. And so my point is, if you can create content through storytelling, through photos, through videos, and then you can share that in an email blast or through social media, and they happen to be seeing some of that stuff, over time, they're going to get to learn you a little bit more and kind of understand what you stand for.
I see. Also, is there any conferences or any kind of where case managers kind of meet all together and things like that? Is there a point in kind of trying to locate that, or that generally doesn't happen?
There is. I mean, they have like case management conferences like in different parts of like, Florida and all throughout the country. Some national, some regional, some on a Florida level, some more focused on guardians, some more focused on discharge planners. So those conferences definitely exist. I would say, I don't know if that's unless you're a national player and
Yeah.
so let's say like, like ActivAge, I don't know, 5-10 years from now, we have 150 locations and we're all throughout the country. Then at that point in time, it may make sense for us to actually sponsor or be a part of, an event like that, right? But if we are, if we're just in one small regional area, then it may not make sense to go to something like that, because there's going to be case managers all over the place, so like if I'm from that smaller market, I got one location, I'm really just trying to focus on the hospitals, the SNFs, the assisted living facilities, Medicare, home health, even primary care physician offices that have a case management department. I just want to focus on those folks in my local market.
I see. And in terms of like first opening up, is it better to open up in an urban environment or kind of a suburban environment if you have, let's say, an option to do
Yeah,
one of
so I mean, like for me, I think density is key, because at the end of the day, like we're either transporting people here or they're being driven and dropped off here. And I want as much density as I can get within 5 miles, because like it makes it much easier for my transportation, makes it much easier for families as well. But people are going to be they're going to be in more, like kind of urban areas, and it's going to be, or it's gonna be a little more spaced out. Like it depends on where people are at, and that's gonna have a big impact on whether or not you do a smaller location or a larger one, or if you should expect to have like 10 people per day, or if you should expect to have 100.
Yeah, yeah. And if you are opening up, how dangerous is an already established daycare? I wouldn't say in the same neighborhood, but just around kind of, let's say, a 10-mile radius.
So to me, what I've learned is that there's so many adult day centers
Yeah.
that meet so many different types of needs. Like meaning we're kind of a private pay oriented. 90% of our revenue is all private pay. 10% VA and Medicaid. And so because of that, we attract and we have to deliver a service that's a little bit different than maybe a place that's entirely Medicaid. So there's certain aspects to the way we have to run our center that is very different than the place that is like more focused on Medicaid. And so what ends up happening is like, if like in our market, I know we have a place that's more Medicaid focused than we have our place. The more Medicaid focused place is 100% Medicaid, and we're 90% private pay. So we attract two different types of consumers.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of Medicaid, like what are the reimbursement rates like, and like how many hours would they pay for, things like that?
Yeah, so every state's different, right? So every single state you go to is going to be a little bit different. Some states still manage and will handle and kind of do all the reimbursement for Medicaid. Some states have pawned that off to these managed care organizations, or MCOs, and those states that have kind of, I don't say pawned it off, but they've appointed them to kind of be the middleman. What happens is that eats into like a lot of the reimbursement rates too. And then you start working with these insurance companies, and they'll kind of like dictate or authorize how many hours someone can get, or how many days per week someone can get, or how many units someone can get. And I've seen that anywhere on the low end, like $35 a day, on the high end, like $100 a day. And it just depends on the state. Like I know Florida, depending on where you're at in Florida, it's it's not uncommon to see like a Humana at $45 a day, and like a Sunshine maybe at 70 or $75. And honestly, I'm just making numbers up. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
You have these different MCOs, and they could be at different rates in the same state.
Mm-hmm. And how would you find out about the rate of your state? Is there a website or?
Yeah, so they're individually negotiated. So for instance, I know us over here on the West Coast, we were able to negotiate our rates with these MCOs with a little bit more leverage than the ones in, say, Miami, because in Miami, there's like a ton of adult day centers that are catering to the Medicaid population. And therefore, it's like once they have a couple there that are accepting a lower rate, it kind of ruins it for everyone else. Where like over here on the West Coast, like there's not a lot of places that accept Medicaid. So we were able to say, like, look, we're only going to do the contract if it's X, you know?
Mhm. I see.
So I think, but the difference is like, is like my friends over there, nothing against them, but a lot of them, like they rely so heavily on Medicaid that like, they don't want to upset Medicaid. We don't rely on Medicaid. So my approach is like, I don't really care like whether or not we get the contract because it's not, I'm not relying on it. I more so am doing it if we think, you know, it makes sense because we can help our current members, maybe who've been with us for a few years, like transition onto Medicaid.
Mhm.
I'm more so doing it like for that person that walks in the door and they really need help. And we're like, crap, like, you know, we want to help them out. Like, so that's our freebie. That's our way of giving back essentially, you know, because like our average person's going to spend with us somewhere between 100 and 120 bucks per day. So for us, if we're, you know, accepting someone on Medicaid at 45 bucks a day, we're probably just breaking even on that. And it's really more of just like trying to find a way to give back. So we really kind of try to like not allow our Medicaid percentage to go too high.
Mhm. And
But
can you go off?
but I
Sorry.
have like, no, I was gonna say like the one thing is like, and some people that know me, they know I'm slightly biased on this. Like it's not, and a lot of times it's not that I'm against Medicaid. It's just
Yeah.
important for you to pick your target market first and then figure out the payer source second.
Yeah. In just in terms of that, just kind of run the numbers. Is there any way to find out like or negotiate before you actually open up or before you actually put an investment to find out what your reimbursement from Medicaid would be? Or you have to already have an established
Yeah,
business?
you have to already be you have to already open. You have to get an NPI number. You have to apply for Medicaid, get approved for Medicaid, and then go and try to get contracted with an MCO.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you.
Or you buy a place that already exists that has a Medicaid license, and then just go through the change of ownership application.
Hmm. I see. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else got questions? Who else we got on here? I think I saw Mary, my good old friend Mary. Who else we got on here? Hey guys, we got about I think 15 or 17 more minutes, so I got time for questions. And we got 25 people on the call, so I know someone else got a question on here.
Hey,
Someone's calling.
Kris, it's Abby here.
Hi, Abby. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am in New Jersey, but I'm on the cusp of Pennsylvania. So I'm like, I live in Jersey, but I also own a home care agency in Pennsylvania. We're
Yep.
looking to expand into the adult day, and I just looked it up on YouTube, and you came up, and I was like, "Who's this handsome man? Let me just follow him." So then I applied to get, to get more information on this call. And I know I kind of looked up the state regs as far as, opening an adult day in New Jersey. I couldn't find much for the state of Pennsylvania, but I wanted to ask you, would we have to get a new Medicaid license for the adult day center if we already have one for our home care agency?
Yeah. So I mean, here's the hard part with Medicaid. So I'm gonna give a little disclaimer and then I'll answer generally. My disclaimer
Okay.
would be that every state like Medicaid program is so individually different, like because they're state run and they're not federally mandated, right? So like every single state has, so many different ways in which that they're going to operate and run their Medicaid program that I don't want to speak on behalf of like Pennsylvania and New Jersey because that state could be different. But in my experience with the state of Florida is they're going to have to be two separate Medicaid licenses. And the way in which we get reimbursed is two very different ways.
Okay. Thank you.
Like I know like if
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was saying, I know like if you have a home care agency, but then you have satellite locations, or if we had a, but like, in that way we can build through the same Medicaid number. But if we have, and same with the adult day, if like we had multiple locations, we could, potentially have it still built under the same number, but it would be like adult day specific and then home care specific.
Got it. So what we were thinking, because I was sitting down with the team and I was trying to be creative, I'm like, well, maybe we can add a satellite center, but do a DBA and add an additional service, which would be adult day, but I don't think it works like that. It probably doesn't work like that. I was just,
I just, yeah, I think on something like that, I would just, if I were you, I don't know if you have an attorney that you could at least, sit down for an initial consultation with on that is a specialist in this area just to get their advice on it.
okay. Yeah, I can do that as well.
Just that, and if you can find someone that's good, like, so at least they could be like, hey, here's the law, here's the loophole, here's how you could do that, but it needs to be structured and set up this way. And if it
Yep.
is, then it's illegal. You know what I mean? Like, and that way you're not like guessing, or you're not like starting to build under this thing, and then all of a sudden, like later on the road, it becomes a red flag, and then you got to go deal with that consequence or whatever.
Right. Yes. Thank you. And then another question I had,
Yeah.
do you bill for picking up your consumers or patients?
Yeah, so here's the thing that's like, so because of the fact that we're focused on private pay, we do bill them for transportation. In our case, we charge an hourly rate, and we just basically charge that hourly rate from the time they get in the car, the time they get dropped off, or basically anytime that they're with us, whether it's we're picking them up or dropping them off, or they're coming into our center. Either way, like that clock in and clock out time, we're just billing an hourly rate for that. When it comes to our Medicaid folks, sometimes like the Medicaid, our MCOs, they'll pay a trip charge essentially. They'll pay a flat fee per trip.
Got it. Okay. Do they consider that like CCT for the trip? Like a transportation service?
Like a transportation what?
Service for the client?
So I've had, here's what I've seen happen in Florida. I see some people that they just take their $10 or $15 per trip and just accept it, it's on the Medicaid side, or sometimes I've seen it as low as $5. I've also seen a friend of mine had his center where they actually started a separate transportation company, and then that transportation company billed under the transportation side of things. And so it kind of acted as like a separate entity. And then they got reimbursed at a much higher rate, but there was also like an entirely different, insurance, and it had a different, they had to go through a completely different kind of application process, and they had to get paid through and get contracted with a company that like brokers out all of the transportation, and so it becomes like another like administrative workload, but it had a higher reimbursement rate.
Got it. Okay. And then my last question is, do you guys assist with the process of opening up an adult day center outside of Florida, like me being in Pennsylvania and or New Jersey?
So we don't necessarily like assist like helping others necessarily open up like just generally an adult day center. We through ActivAge sell franchises or award franchises to franchisees, and then help them build and grow their own adult day center, but like through ActivAge, through our brand and all the systems that we have in place.
Oh, got it. Okay, so I misunderstood that. So with the franchise, what would be the owner percentages, or is all of that negotiated?
Yeah, so when someone buys a
That's
franchise,
ownership.
so like they own their own individual location. They're basically buying the rights to use the name, the systems, and then everything that we have that makes up our brand ActivAge. So they're buying like the rights to that, plus like our support in the process. So they still own their own business 100%. It's just that we take a royalty in exchange for supporting them. We have a franchise fee to become part of our franchise program, you become part of our adult day program, and then and then we give everyone the systems, the processes, the licensing rights to the name. We help with the real estate, site selection, construction, and just the general support ongoing.
Oh, awesome. What is the royalty fee?
Yeah, so we charge 6% of gross for the royalty, and that's for basically there's 4 major components: our activity program, our CRM support system. We handle the billing side of things through a software system that we built, because we built hourly as opposed to daily rates or half day rates. And then like the kind of like the social media, or just even general, like, branding, marketing, flyers, events, we handle all the kind of like, the digital side of that thing.
Awesome. Okay, and that's 6% royalty for a lifetime,
Yeah, for the yep.
life
So
of the
it's,
business.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
That's all my
for
questions. I didn't want to take it up.
was that?
I said that was all of my questions. I didn't want to take up everyone's
Yeah,
time.
no,
I
you're
know.
good. No, hey, Abby,
Okay.
thank you for asking questions. That was great. I know we got like 8 more minutes here, so does anyone else have a question I could help answer? Anyone else? Anyone else? I see. I saw you said hi, Mary. What's up, Mary? Let's see here. Who else we got on here? Zena Jackson asked, how long is the franchise contract? So our agreements are 15 years. Typically, they're either 10 or 15. Just depends. But we would be in kind of an agreement with someone, working with them for that period of time. Are you willing to work in Canada? Right now, we're not going to be expanding into Canada. That will be something that we do probably in about 5 years. Right now, we're mainly focused on the US. But anyone else have any other questions? I can't imagine that we're all done early. Is that it? Is that
I could keep going.
All right, Abby, let's go. One more.
Let's go. So, okay, what is the licensing process like? What's the timeliness or turnaround? And I know each state is going to be different. But I guess from your experience, like if I said, hey, Kris, I would like to do a franchise of your adult day center here in New Jersey. What is your experience with like getting it open off the ground, first client?
Yeah.
What did you say? It's the same like home care? Like my first 2 years was a little rocky.
Yeah. So here's the biggest difference with home care. You don't have the location and construction component like you do with adult day. So with adult day, it's like we got to find the right location, and then we gotta get that location under lease. We got to purchase it. We got to make sure we can secure that location, and then we got to go through construction. And then once construction is complete, then we got to go through licensing. So there's 3 kind of like major stages that have to take place, and so we always estimate that a conservative like estimate to get open is probably 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
And that's like, that's picking the location, going through construction, and then getting through licensing.
Got it.
And it could be
Someone
less.
else is asking questions. I'm gonna keep asking, Kris. Do we have you till 7:30?
Yes, we got 6 more minutes.
Okay. With
Yeah.
are there any upfront costs outside of the 6% gross that you guys charge to open the adult day?
Yes, I mean,
Franchise?
so we have a franchise fee, and then there's a train. So we basically, there's a $50,000 franchise fee up front. And that essentially is gonna like helps, where we help support you for that 12 to 18 month period of time that you're getting up and going. We're working with our real estate team to find you the location, do the market research, narrow the location down, help you negotiate the lease, get tenant improvements, rent abatement, whatever we can get there. We've partnered you up with our funding partners to get financing if that makes, if that's something that is needed. And then once we get the location picked out, you're working with our construction team. We're doing the initial floor plan. We're laying everything out. We're doing the construction cost. The largest part of the cost is going to be construction. And then after construction is done, then we're helping to support you on licensing, getting open. You're coming down. You're training with our team. We're going up there. We're training with you, getting you ready for opening. And then we're supporting you throughout that entire process on those other things like the activity program, the CRM system. We're calling on behalf of leads, on your behalf, nurturing those leads, helping those leads get through the door, texting, calling, emailing, all that kind of stuff. So we're doing all that back end stuff and taking a lot of the administrative workload off of your plate.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
You know,
yes, that's amazing.
but so there's like an upfront fee for it. There's an ongoing fee for it. You know, but it's all like it's because we're doing a lot of stuff on your behalf. It's not like here's your book, here's a name. You know, now pay us a fee. It's like no, we're like in the trenches with you. You know.
Yes. So you're holding our hand throughout the way.
Oh, the whole process.
Mhm.
We in this thing for the long haul. You know.
Yes.
But you know,
Okay.
but it, you know, I would say the biggest cost is going to be construction, and there's other costs like you know our all-in cost. These are not necessarily costs paid to us, but just in general for people to be aware of. You know, that all-in cost is going to be somewhere between 500 and 700,000. You know, so and that's for about a 6,000 square foot space.
How much did you say it was?
It'll be between 500 and 700,000, and that's that's includes the franchise fee, that includes the construction, that includes working capital, that includes all your insurance, your your architectural fees, your basically the all-in cost, and to get open, marketing, advertising, all that stuff. It's all like built in there, like it's all cost segregated out,
Right. Okay.
and
Then
and
who do you
so
guys use for your lender?
So we use a company called Benetrends, and Benetrends is like a partner of
Okay.
ours. And then we would set you up with them and the folks that are on our team with them, and then they would help get you in touch with the right bank.
Okay.
So
All of this sounds very promising.
yeah, and you can always, like, if you want to schedule a call, you can always go on to the activagecare.com website, and there's a franchise like button there, and a place for you to fill out the form, and then we can at least jump on a call and go specifically over that if it made sense.
So you want to pursue the American dream, you want to start your own adult day center, but you don't know where to start. Go to adcpro.com and click on the blog section and choose from all sorts of categories, including financial, startup stage, marketing, operations, and much, much more. Become the adult day pro you were born to be. adcpro.com.
Yes. Thank you.
I saw one more question. I got 2 minutes, and it looks like Jennifer. I don't know if Jennifer, are you still here?
I am still here, yes.
Okay. Hi, Jennifer. So what kind of space do you recommend? I think it's a great question. And I also saw Dr. Wolf's question too. I just made a video on that, Dr. Wolf. So that should be coming out soon. If it hasn't already, I'll have to double check. But I made a video on like the actually, no, it's already out, on population size. And like the size of center based on the population in your area within miles. So that video is out. You can go find it on our YouTube channel. Jennifer, your question about the square footage. You recommend, for someone like that, it's going to depend a lot on the area you're in, and then two, on like the level of risk tolerance that you have. So,
Okay.
so like I know for us, we are like focused on a 6,000 to 8,000 square foot model, but that model may not work in certain geographic areas. So like we might be limited to certain locations based on the fact that a 6,000 square foot model may not work in a smaller town, or a town that has like doesn't have the density of the senior population. And then sometimes with a 6,000 or 8,000 square foot space, there might be a higher level of like risk tolerance, because the cost to carry that rent payment and to construct a space of that size is going to be much greater than, say, maybe a 2,000 square foot space. Might have a much smaller risk tolerance, and could allow you to kind of get your feet wet without having to go all in on, or go all in on a bigger space, depending on your financial situation and the density of the area. So I don't know if is that helping answer that question?
It does, absolutely. And then, so I'm an assisted living administrator. So
Okay.
I don't know how many of us you have that are looking at doing this.
No,
but
I honestly, like you were like my favorite type of person, like, for this role. I think because you guys are burned out and you're ready for a break, and you're like, I would love to do this if I could just do it from 8 to 5.
yeah, well, and honestly, it really, for me, I love what I do, but it's because I'm from the Raleigh market, and we
Okay.
just have our assisted living fees are astronomical. I mean, they're in between
Yeah.
8 and 10 grand.
I
And
know, it's
there's
crazy.
that
It's
market, but
crazy.
yeah, there's that market between like 2,500 and 4,000, like
Yeah.
there's nothing. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
it's perfect timing. At least in my state, it's perfect
Oh,
timing.
I think this is why this is perfect timing for the whole world. This is like, to me, I'm like, that's why I love Adult Day, and I feel grateful to have like come across it when I did. But I feel like with the even, I already felt like we were pricing people out in the future, but with COVID and then with recent inflationary pressure, we've completely priced out like the average Joe. And I think like we're going to see more and more people come together who are going to have to live under one roof, and people are going to be like sharing their homes with their family. People are going to be buying homes like with their family more and more than we've ever seen. And I think Adult Day is going to be like the number one like solution over the next 15-20 years, hands down.
Yeah, for sure. I really do think there needs to be more advocates for that. I know at least in my state, as you go through and you find out through the Department on Aging and DHHS, their response was, well, you better have your own funding because we're not going to provide any funding or assistance for you. So you're on your own. So they're not very encouraging, which is unfortunate.
Here's the sad part is, I sometimes I feel like if I'm repeating the same thing, I apologize. But there's 35,000 home care agencies in this country. There's 28,000 assisted living facilities, 15,000 nursing homes, but there's only 3,500 adult day centers. So like Adult Day is literally unknown in the world of like healthcare for seniors. Like it's such a small group of people that like we don't really have a seat at the table yet. And that's why, like, I know for us, like we were like, all right, we're going to focus on the private pay demographics because we're that middle market solution. We're going to grow and scale this thing up, and then we're going to get ourselves a seat at that table,
Kris, I had
But
another question just to run and jump in there. It's really quick.
go ahead.
So do you have any clients that have home care services as well as adult day services at the same time, like simultaneously?
Yeah, we do. Because we also have a home care agency as well. And so we do service both. They are,
Okay, perfect.
it's not like 50% of our home care clients use it, but I would say a good like 10%, 10 to 15% of our people like kind of use both.
Okay.
And over time, there's definitely a good group of folks that like they'll come use our daycare. Some they'll have an issue. They'll have a fall at home. They'll go to rehab, come back, use home care for a month or two, then come back to daycare.
Yep. All righty.
So
okay, I promise that's it.
well, I really appreciate it, guys. No, thank you all so much for joining. And I know it's that time, but I appreciate everyone joining me today. For those that do not know, we do this once a month on the second Wednesday of every month. Try to send out email reminders to everybody. If you have questions, if you're inquiring, I love the Q&A. So thank you for all of you guys for being here and kind of having these questions, because to me I feel like we all learn a lot through each other's situations. So this is super helpful. So bring your questions. Come with plenty of questions. Definitely love to see you on the next one. That will be in May, the second Wednesday of every month. Thank you all for joining me tonight. And we will see you all soon. And thanks again. And Adult Day is the future. If you don't know that already, thanks guys. Y'all have a great night.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to learn how to open your own adult daycare center, go to adcpro.com. If you'd like the latest business tips, click here, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Click here. We'll see you guys next time.